So today we have Srimad Bhagavatam. One second. Is Canto 7, Chapter 8, verse 12. Yastvaya mandavakyoto madanyo jagadishvaraham Kvasuyadi sarvatatra kasmatstambe nadrishyate. Oh, most unfortunate Prahlad, you have always described a supreme being other than me, a supreme being who is above everything, who is the controller of everyone, and who is all-pervading. But where is he? If he is everywhere, then why is he not present before me in this pillar? So I think this is a verse and a story that mostly all of us we know, but if it's new for someone of you, it's the story of Prahlad Maharaj. And he was a young kid, and he was the son of a demon, of an asura, called Hiranyakashipu. The characteristic of this kid is that actually he was a great bhakta, a great devotee of the Lord, of Narayana. And against him was his father, that he believed he was a demon, so he believed that actually he was the supreme. He was the doer. He was the ruler of the whole universe. He was conquering all the three worlds. Nobody could stop him because he has a special wound given by Brahma. By Brahman. By Brahma. And so this demon has a son, and this son is actually a great bhakta. When he's trying to convince his son, actually, that he, Hiranyakashipu, the demon, is a doer of everything. And when his son is not being convinced, Hiranyakashipu starts to become more rude about it. And he even reached a moment that he wants to kill his own son, because his son was not willing to accept that actually he was not the supreme, that the supreme was the Lord, Narayana. So this is the exactly last moment when Hiranyakashipu is asking Prahlad, if exists this God that you said he's everywhere, why he's not in this pillar? And he take the mass, the gada, and smash the pillar. And from that pillar that breaks in the half, Lord Narashima, like Lord Narayana in the form of Lord Narashima, comes out and kills the demon, Hiranyakashipu. So I think everybody knows until this point of the story. So what this demon represents, Hiranyakashipu, I already said, and it's the false ego, the doer, the pride, the one who thinks is in control of life. And I think we can always refer to this outside. If we try to speak about God or Guruji, you find this resistance from people. Like, because accepting that there is someone that rules your life except than you is not something easy to accept. So I would say that this is the main barrier when I speak about Guruji with my friends or family. But there is another way of seeing it, that is actually with ourselves. Because how was for you at the beginning? You didn't have this feeling that when you lose ownership on your life, it's actually a terrifying feeling. At least was for me at the beginning. When I met Guruji and you start listening all the great stories about him, all the things that he's able to do, then, of course, you say, okay, so he's everywhere. He has shown powers that he's everywhere. But somehow, at the beginning for me, was more like Hiranyakashipu. I was not cool at all with that idea. I found it terrifying that someone except me was inside of me, that can hear my thoughts, that can know what I'm doing all the time, And so the feeling was not like peaceful and feeling like, oh, someone is with me in this trip. No, it's like, I want to be alone. I don't want you to listen my mind. I don't want you to know what I do. Something else about Hiranyakashipu, like a parenthesis, is that Guruji told me in India that Lord Narasimha, this form of the Lord, is actually the only one that will grant moksha at this time of the humankind. And he asked me, why do you think I'm opening Narasimha temples all around the world? So, coming back to this of Lord Narasimha and Hiranyakashipu, it's a strange feeling at the beginning to get rid of, about feeling like we are just like puppets. You know, like Geppetto, he's managing the small puppets, he decides what the puppet will do. And I don't know you, but when I was younger, I used to play these video games, like The Sims or Age of Empires. And you are like God, and you can see your hand. And you just grab the people and you place them somewhere else. You tell them, go to cut wood, you go to the farm, you build a temple, you build the stable house, you the main house, so you are ruling everything. No? So you are the ruler, you are controlling the civilization. Then another game, you can be actually in the character, so you control that character. You can make him change his mind and move from one place to the other, the Sims. You send him, he can be just flattering with the neighborhood wife, he can be going to bed, you can tell him to, even if he's tired, you can tell him to walk up and walk around. So you see like the status bar of the character is like, if he's tired, is getting red, but anyhow, you are like God for him, you can just control it. So I like to feel like I'm the doer, that I'm in control. And when I start the path with Guruji, he actually, time after time, starts showing me that actually I'm not controlling anything in my life, less in other people's life, and how much he is controlling it. So when I came back, after just being 3 months here, I came back to my country, and I have like a unconcluded story, love story with my ex-girlfriend. And I wanted to finish it. So I stay only 2 days in my city, and even if I didn't have the awareness that Guruji, maybe he could be everywhere, I just pray to him, like, please let me find my ex-girlfriend so I can, for once for all, finish this. So I stay only 2 days in my city. The first day, actually, I didn't make the prayer, I was just with my family. But the second day, I went around to see my friends with my bike, and that day I made the prayer to Guruji, please let me find her. She doesn't live there, she lives in another city. But let me find her so I can just finish this. I have the feeling that I need to finish this stuff so I can come to the ashram and quit the world, no, somehow. So I'm riding my bike, I go to see a friend, I leave my bike outside, I go inside, I say, hey bro, how are you? And he's happy to see me, and he say, bring the bike in. So I come out, and in that moment, my ex-girlfriend is coming out from the neighbor's house, because somehow in this time she got friend of that person, is coming out, we see each other, we hug, and we just smile, and she say, oh man, you looks good. I say like, yeah, you too, yeah, you look happy. And it's just like, we both smile, and say, yeah, maybe we can share a tea later. And she goes down the street. So the third day, I was supposed to go in the afternoon. I went to her house, actually, because we say, okay, we will drink a tea. So that thing that actually I want to finish, actually I was going to open it again. So I go, I ring the bell, it was Sunday, and nobody's answering. So weird enough, I say, okay, I will go inside, because we used to live there. It was like my house. And we have the dog, so I saw my dog coming from the back. So I say, okay, I will go in, and we'll just knock the door, because maybe the ring is not connected. So my dog is coming, my dog, and when I'm trying to open the gate from inside, I put the hand inside, my dog bites me. And was so clear for me at that moment, like, not this way, man. Not this way. So I just took my hand out, I took the car, and I left. And what I think was one of these completely definition moments of life, like if I would insist in going in that direction, was clearly not for me. And there inside, I felt that he really can rule every aspect of my life. But I didn't like it at all. Like perceiving that, being aware of it, actually makes me feel sad. Because as always I felt like doing things in my life, somehow it's like I cannot claim ownership of anything. Plus other experience that Guruji gave me. Yeah? So I called Swami Parantapa, and I'm really upset. And I don't know if you know these little toys called Playmobil, that when you play when you're young, you play these, you create the families, or you can have armies. Also, it's like, it's not in computer, it's physical play. So I called Swami Parantapa and said, like, I'm depressed. I said, why are you depressed, Aditya? Felipe at that moment. And he said, I told him, well, I feel like a Playmobil. It's so annoying. I'm just a toy being used for this or for that. I think I'm moving myself, but actually I'm not even deciding where I'm going, who I will meet. It's all in someone else's hands. So this Hiranyakashipu was inside of me. And as you can see here in the main altar, what the Lord is doing with it. He's ripping it out. But metaphorically, it's actually destroying that part of ourselves that is not cool at all with the idea of not being the doer. And actually today, if you compare, I feel at peace. I feel tremendously okay, knowing that he's with me all the time. Knowing that Guruji is taking care of you is the biggest blessing that someone can have. One time we were in Wiesbaden with Mukunda, we broke our leg, the knee at the same time. I was playing football. As you know, Guruji banished it. And Mukunda had something else. And he was doing seva, of course. He's more applied. And he broke his knee in the Bajan Cafe. So both of us, we went to Wiesbaden to a clinic to the checking. And meanwhile, we are coming, like driving back. So curious, I just saw a couple from Argentina drinking a coffee that they were here in the ashram. But in the whole Wiesbaden, we were driving and we saw them. So I say, hey, they didn't listen to me, they didn't hear me. So I told to Mukunda, please, let's stop. And maybe we ask them if they go to the ashram. So we go around, we end up finding a weird parking, smelling super bad, in a weird area of Wiesbaden, I've never been there. And both of us, we are already like upset, what are we doing here? We should not stop, actually. We should have continued the trip to the ashram. But anyway, we are already there, we go down, we go to the cafe, we don't find them, they left already. So I think we tried to find a pretzel or something to, to pay the moment, but even the pretzel house was closed. So say, okay, just let's come back to the ashram. And in the way, we are walking to, like 3 streets away, 300 meters away from the car. And in that moment, crossing the street, I see a person, and she's quite familiar face to me. And she's very happy to see us, and she says, Jai Gurudev. And I saw her, I saw her in the ashram. I said, Jai Gurudev. Nothing, we just left. We take the car, we come back to the ashram. And both of us is like, okay, such a waste of time. But happens, funny enough, that a few days later, I meet this Mataji in the lobby. And she's preparing a tea. I say, hey, I saw you in Wiesbaden like 1 week ago or something. And she says, yeah. And you know, it's very funny because I was walking in a strange area in Wiesbaden, and actually I was afraid because, I don't know, the people, the energy, everything was frightening her. And she said, in that moment, I prayed to Guruji, please Guruji, show me that you are with me. And 10 seconds later, guys, you are crossing the street, dressed as monk, and immediately a feeling of I'm being taken care, like, came to my body. And she started feeling like completely okay, thank you, Guruji. She even, I think, was crying. So for us, was just like, we made a mistake, we lose our time. But actually, Guruji, using people as puppets, that I was not so okay with it, actually was giving an experience to someone else, to feel that actually that person was being taken care. Externally, because he's always with us, but he was just showing it. As Krishna says in the Gita, like, he is pervading everything like pearls on a thread. He's everywhere, and we are just like these pearls around, but he's putting us together. He's giving the shape to the whole thing. And I always ask myself, so what is this Maha paradox of free will? Where is the free will in our life? Because Guruji says that actually there is not. That there is maybe a choice. Maybe. So what are we really doing, or what are we not doing? And I would say that what we have is actually the choice of deciding or accepting that God is ruling our life and living accordingly, or not to accept it and actually live as a consequence of karma and pay our past actions and create the payment for our future actions. So what I understand we can actually decide is if we want to be a slave of karma, or if we want to be awake and actually understand that he is doing everything. This is for me the biggest paradox in the spiritual path. Because at the same time when he was showing me, awakening me that he is controlling everything, Guruji, at the same time, I have the feeling inside that I can decide I don't want to see this. Because I want to feel the doer. And I don't, have you seen Matrix, the movie? It's this character. He's like awake. He lives outside of the Matrix with the team that is working hardly to take people outside of the Matrix. And he's actually remembering all his Matrix life when he enjoyed the Matrix, the Maya, and actually he makes an agreement with these bad guys of the Maya and tell them, please, give me back my life. Like, blindfold me again, put me inside of the Matrix, and give me the best Matrix ever, the best wife, money, house, everything. So it's very interesting because in the path that Guruji is taking us, awakening us, all the time I face this thing that maybe I don't want to be awake. Maybe it's hard to know. And all the time I'm fighting with this voice, this Hiranyakashipu inside, that he's saying, actually being blindfolded is nicer. Until we don't reach the destination, is maybe truth. Because we have that memory. One time Guruji wrote to me, and he said, after an experience that he shows me that he's everywhere, and he says, all is in the hand of Giridhari. He gives justly to all. Even if one doesn't understand, but later in life, the answer will be there. So for me, right now, I would say that the biggest expression of feeling in control of things is actually to worry. Because I would say it consciously, I know already that there is a superior force handling my life. I got experience of it. But somehow, I keep worrying about things that happen. And every time I'm worried, it's actually this little Hiranyakashipu inside that he thinks he is in control of anything. Jai Gurudev.